Hello, welcome and welcome back. This is Jacob and today we are going to be continuing the module short story narrations for the various operators in Arknights, today with the module short story, and the module of course as well, for operator Texas the Omertosa. So, quick little side note here before we begin, however, with the short story as usual. This one is obviously linked directly to the events, or rather post-events, of Il Siracusano. It doesn't spoil anything about the plot, but if you know the story itself, you will have an easier time to follow along why these characters are where they are in the short story. And if you haven't had the opportunity yet to read the story yourself, but would be inclined to listen to a narration and character voicing, not by me, of course, of that side story, playlist is in the description of the video, so just sit back and listen, or just listen on your commute or whatever else you're doing, and have fun. It's a very, very fun and very heartfelt story as well. So then, with that said, let us proceed into the short story. As for the first off module art, pretty much Texas's gear, including one of the two swords that she's wielding in her altar form. So then, the module itself and the short story are titled Blueberry and Dark Chocolate. Can you maybe already tell where this is going? Alright, but the story goes as follows. Nothing could be more stupid than having to name your own weapon, Texas thinks, staring at the form in front of her. Nuova Volsini forbids the carrying of weapons, even hidden ones, but Penguin Logistics is without a doubt a special case, hence their need to file a little additional registration. It doesn't mean they can use weapons in urban areas, but simply that under certain circumstances their weapons will be returned to them. Which is not to say she has to go through something as dumb as weapon naming, of course, it's just she sees Exia elatedly wrecking the old noggin and filling in names she came up with a second ago for each one of her guns, and she catches the gaze Exia throws her way from time to time, appreciation mixed with eagerness. And she knows that if she doesn't do it herself, Exia will snatch away her paperwork and give her two new swords names so stupid you'd call them groundbreaking. She really can't say she's all that invested in these blades, given that she only reluctantly accepted them as a gift in the first place. Frankly, she's not even the type to get hung up on this stuff. If the swords she'd been using before weren't of fairly unique make, she'd probably have changed weapons several times by now. Moreover, the maker of these twin swords was doubtlessly trying to draw some sort of spiritual thing from the story of the Texas family name, which was then affixed squarely on top. And despite the fact that it made even more headache for her, it led even the official inspecting her weapons to cast her an expectant look, as if to say, surely arms such as these must have wonderful names. The door opens with a groan, and in come Sora and Croissant, toting bags of all sizes. Their new base is in dire need of dressing up, and the two of them have always been on decor duty. Oh my gosh, Texas, you've been sitting there for 3 hours, Sora can't help but explain when she finds, after moving to Texas's side, that the form is still in the exact same shape as when she left. Texas gives a shrug of the shoulders, hands the pen to her, and makes it clear Texas is checked out. I'm busy sorting out the base. I can't help you with this, Sora says, mouth curling to one side. Besides, it's not like this family stuff has anything to do with me. I'm just some performer. Texas rolls her eyes. She'd finally laid out her whole past to her friends, and now it was nothing more than a harmless joke between them. She shoots a look at Croissant, but the Forte raises her hands as if to say she's all tied up herself. Still, something seems to hit her immediately after, and she pulls something out of a bag and slings it to Texas. Bought it on the way. Think it over nice and slow now. You got plenty of time and all. Texas catches it, looks down, and finds it's a box of chocolates. Having set her piece, Croissant heads into the kitchen. She's bought a bumper crop of cookware, and tonight will be her first time flexing her skills in Nuova Volsini. Sora switches a new record onto the gramophone. Melodious music fills the new bass while she begins to read the script she has in hand. She's gotten a new job, no doubt. Exia's battle with her forms seems to be nearing a close, and one look at her face tells you she's pretty damn satisfied with what she's accomplished. But Texas knows the next time she fetches her weapons, she's not going to remember a single one of the names she taught up here. This is my life now. Texas tears open the packaging, pulls out the stick and begins to slowly chew on it. But the feel of the chocolate, as it gradually melts in her mouth, on top of everything she sees and hears and senses right now, leads to a moment of inspiration. She promptly puts the pen to form, fills in the name, blueberry and dark chocolate, a few times before tossing the pen aside. Exia leans in to steal a glance and bluntly tells her, "I gotta say, partner, these are really stupid names." "I agree." Texas leans back in her office chair, gives her body a stretch, and puts her earphones on. "But that's just the right amount of stupid." And that is our short story. Once again, Penguin Logistics. This is very on topic, but yeah. Blueberry and dark chocolate. Yep. That's the name of the swords. Kinda gives me a DMC vibe, not gonna lie. Anyway. Let's go over the traits and talents of Texas Alter, before we check out what the module upgrades. So then, her trait is significantly reduces redeployment time. Good. She's a specialist, so good. Her first talent is Texas Tradition. Gains plus 20% attack during the duration of the passive skill. When defeating an enemy for the first time, fully restore HP and reactivates the effect of the passive skill. That is her bread and butter, quite honestly. Her second talent is Texas Swordsmanship. Before defeating an enemy for the first time, after each deployment, gains plus 8 attack speed and reduces all damage taken by 25%. Also, pretty decent. However, what does the module upgrade? So first and foremost, this module is already on stage 2, so you will see changes to both, or rather higher numbers to the base stats and the change to the Texas Tradition talent. So then, the module obviously upgrades base stats such as attack and HP. It adds the trait when there are no allied units in the 4 adjacent tiles, attack is plus 10%. Which is obviously, if you ask me, this is pretty much a permanent buff, because rarely will you deploy Texas in close proximity with any allied units, but if you do, this will obviously not work. But if you deploy her outside of the range of any allied units, or at least not in the 4 adjacent tiles to her, so above, below, left and right of her, she will always have a attack buff of 10%. Dope. The module on stage 2, however, does upgrade her Texas Tradition by 5%. So literally the only thing that changes about the skill, or rather about this talent, is that instead of 20% attack up during the duration of a passive skill, she has 25% attack up during the duration of a passive skill. And finally, on stage 3, this goes up to 28%. So this is one of those modules where I'll say maybe going to stage 3 is not that necessary. Unless you are obviously chasing the higher numbers, then sure, go all the way if you want to, or if you are using Texas Alter quite a lot. I'm trying to use her as little as possible when I can, because she's definitely a broken unit when it comes to what she can do. But if you do want more DPS out of her, this will pretty much cause her to just do more DPS. Flat stat of attack up and attack buff for when her passive is running. So you gain stats essentially. Now, currently, from what I saw on the wiki, not even in the Chinese client does she have, as of this recording and this video going up, a second module, so I cannot tell you should you wait for a second one or see about yourself if you want to wait for the second one, because this is her one and only module for now. She is a 6-star, however, so there is a high possibility that she will get a second one down the line, especially with how popular the character is as well. So we shall see and wait until that happens. But for now, this is her one and only module. Once again, if you want the extra 5% attack passive plus the 10% from just the trait, I would say the trait itself is already, on stage 1, is already a nice little buff to her. But yeah, depends on personal taste, obviously. But anyway, this will be it for this video. Thank you all for listening and watching it. If you like this video, consider leaving a like. It means a lot to me and helps me a lot in the algorithm, so thank you very much in advance. And if you're new to the channel and enjoyed this short story narration and this video, please consider subscribing. There is a lot more on the channel. The playlist for the module is getting larger and larger by the day, quite honestly. And yeah, see if you like something. But anyway, thank you very much for listening and watching. Hope you have a fantastic day wherever you are, and I will see you in the next one. Until then, bye bye.